Good day, Mog Senior High School. This is Sir Glenn Cadizarandilla for Oral Communication and Context, Module 2, Models of Communication. Again, I have four sections for oral communication class. I have grade 11 Peterson. I have grade 11 Bezos, grade 11 Jobs, and grade 11 Trotsky, Humes, and ABM. Now let's proceed to oral communication and context, module 2, models of communication. So let's proceed. This is a long module, and I'll be having all instructions later on for more activities, and I will just give and send more instructions later. So let's have a run through first discussion for oral communication in context. All right, so we are oriented already of the different overviews of the modules. Now let's proceed to the various models of communication. Now, what I need to know. At the end of this module, you're expected to first identify the three standard communication models, differentiate the various models of communication, and distinguish the unique feature of one communication process from the other. What I know. Before the discussion of the models of communication, let us see your background knowledge of the topic by taking the pre-test first. So again, in your communication notebook, you have here how many items? 10 items to answer for pre-test. Now what's in? In our previous lessons, you have acquainted of the different elements of communication. The elements are the sender, the receiver, message, encoding, decoding, channel, feedback, the barrier, and the context, which are all essentials in the communication process. I know you still remember all those things. Do not forget all those elements of communication. They are actually very important in the next lessons and the rest of the lessons that we will be having here. So, what's new? In your activity notebook, again, you have this my X and Y activity. So instruction in your communication activity notebook, think of a possession or anything or you consider very important to you that you acquired or that your parents bought you 5 to 10 years ago. And it could be a cell phone, bag, shoes, laptop, car, or any important thing. Follow the example in the matrix and fill it with the needed details. Note that the activity is named My X and Y, referring to past important items such as your X and the reason for liking it. Why? So I know you can relate with this. Do not think of the ex, your boyfriend, ex girlfriend, and all the whys why you broke up. So anyway, let's apply this in our activity. So item acquisition, let's trace that. When was that? And then first, second, third, fourth, depending on how many items you have. And then model, that's cell phones, different cell phones, and why you choose the product. It was affordable and durable. So answer the following questions after doing the matrix. So after doing the matrix, answer this one. Why did you like that object? Why did you choose the brand or the model? Why do you think the brand's models keep changing? Do you agree with the modification of these brands? Why or why not? What do you think is the relevance of the activity to your our new lesson? All right, now let's proceed. After doing that, let's proceed to what is it? Communication models describe the process of communication visually, shows the relationship among the variables, and help find the correct communication problems. And what are the three standard models of communication? So we have here, first is the linear model of communication, transmission model. So under that, we have unidirectional and simple. kinds of models. And um, we have also persuasion, not mutual understanding. We have values, psychological over social effects. Um, the model is known as Shannon-Weaver model, also known as the transmission model and the mother of communication models, is one of the best example of a one-way or linear process of communication consisting of five elements. So remember those elements that we mentioned earlier. And of course, this is the Shannon-Weaver model of communication. Remember the elements, the source, the encoder, the channel, the decoder, the receiver. Linear, meaning one way. Okay, no turning, no returning of the message yet. This is like sending of the message to the receiver. That's the Shannon-Weaver model of communication. All right. So, the Shannon model communication above shows the characteristics of the model linear model of communication. Um, Here, example of the elements of Shannon model. Remember all those elements: the sender, the receiver, the channel, the encoder, the decoder, and the noise. Okay, so example, you have the sender, your friend is the receiver, the channel, the mobile network that she is using or he is using, encoder, the network's company, the decoder, the receiver smartphone. Your friend, of course, receives only part of this SMS because you try to send due to disruption of mobile signal. It's gonna be a barrier for your communication. Alright, activity 2. Agree or disagree. So answer these 10 items in your activity notebook. No need to copy. Just answer number 1, agree, number 2, disagree, and until number 10. Activity number 3. Scene scenario. Fill out the empty boxes with simple scenario reflecting a linear model communication right on your communication notebook. So make a scenario, fill in the scenario that is needed in every box in the Shannon model. Right. Now, transactional communication model. So, an illustration of Frank Dan's helix model, a transactional model. Transactional model illustrates how the sender and the receiver take turn take turns in conveying and receiving messages and are called as communicators. So, you have here day one, child communicates, communication evolves, and then it goes up. The man uses verbal and non-verbal cues to communicate, and then third, the current day communication um, continues with communication modification. So this is an illustration of that model. The characteristics of transactional model: first, communication evolves; second, it is largely dependent on its past; third, concept of time; fourth, communication process is the product of what we learned. Those are the characteristics. Activity 4, key ideas. This is to check your grasp of your earlier knowledge. So write this in your communication notebook. The three basic characteristics of transactional model, and until number 10. So activity 5, compare and contrast. Using the Venn diagram, you need to create a Venn diagram on your communication activity notebook. Then compare and contrast the first two models communication discussed in this module, and afterwards discuss your diagram, and then most of it later on will have that activity. So we have the transmission model and the transactional model. There are differences, and of course this the middle, the similarities. Excuse me. Now next, what's more? Activity 6, comic strips analysis. Study how the process of communication is shown in this comic strip. Excuse me. Um, then answer the questions posed below as direct as possible. So read the comics and try to understand. So analysis of questions. Answer the 5 questions, complete the 5 questions in your activity notebook. Now, interactive communication model. This model, also known as the convergence model of Scrum model and of communication, emphasizes coding and decoding elements of the process, which also focuses on the messages exchanges between sender and the receiver. So the elements of interactive model, we have the same elements. We have the sender, the encoder, decoder, interpreter, receiver, message feedback, medium, noise, or the barrier in the field of experience. So these are the functions. So let us study the illustration below. Okay, the Scrum model of communication. We have the information message behavior. We have the channel, the airwaves, light waves, encoding, decoding, the messenger, and the receiver. Features of interaction of communication model. Of course, it has never-ending process of communication. Feedback is seen as an important part of this model. Yes, if there's no feedback, then it will not be uh, returned the message or the understanding of the message. The field of the experience affects the message being exchanged. It encourages the interaction because it actually interacts the messenger and the receiver. What I have learned. So answer this in your notebook. Number one, two, three. There are two number twos, but there's three and four. So what can I do? Activity number 8. Follow your lead. Okay, this is a 1 minute follow all instruction activity. Write your teacher will provide you a copy of what to do. Do not write anything on the activity sheet. Write your answer on your communication. You start as soon as the teacher tells you what to do and stop at this time. Okay, instructions. Read all the instructions first. So since activity 8 is we need an interaction, a face-to-face interaction with this one. Let's just try to not answer, skip activity 8. Okay, read all instruction first. Write your favorite color anywhere on the paper. Draw a big circle. Oh, it's just easy, just read the instructions, right? We will not skip this one. Activity 8 will pursue, but of course, read the instruction first. Write your favorite color anywhere on the paper in your activity notebook. Write or draw or have your favorite color. Draw a big circle in the center of the paper. Write your birthday in the upper right of the corner. Follow this instruction. Write a big number below the big circle. Number 1, big circle. Write your nickname below your birthday. Draw a box in the lower left corner of the paper. Draw object of representations, dream, profession. Write the name of your crush inside the box. Oh my goodness. Write your name of the crush. Okay, draw a star on top of the big circle. Write the lesson of this module. Write number 1. Draw a smiley anywhere in the paper. Put a check mark before number 1. Write the love oral communication anywhere in the paper. Ignore all the other instructions and write your name on the top of this paper. I want you to read the instructions, huh? Alright. So she said, that was cool, isn't it? Did you have fun with what you did? So we will see how activity 8 checks your understanding. Alright. Assessment. So activity 9, your activity notebook, answer the assessment below. Activity 9. Now again, the same with other modules. Self-checked. Additional activity for reflection. Let's sum up. Okay, this is a summary of the discussion. Post-test, answer this one. Test 1, 10 items. Oh my goodness. Test 1, 10 items. Alright, so test 2, multiple choice. You have 5, and of course you have that. So this is module 2 of oral communication, and we're done. I want you to answer the module 2 and read it carefully, read it again and again and again, and try to understand. So what I did now is just a run through of the module, and I will give further instructions later on for the submission. But for now, if you're not yet done with the rest of the modules or earlier modules, still have time to have that. Okay, so I'll give more instructions in our group chats later on. I see you, thank you, and have a good day.